Among American television viewers, Al Roker has maintained a prominent position for many years. With the adored climate, his positive outlook, humor, and warmth have welcomed millions of people every morning on the Today Show. Al has developed a resilient career beyond just making predictions. He has hosted, written, produced, and even acted. The public seems to regard him as the type of man who can weather any crisis with a smile on his face. Despite his natural charisma on broadcast, Al's career behind the camera has not always been that way. There was pressure to succeed, and there were unforeseen obstacles in life, difficulties that put his physical health, mental fortitude, and faith in the meaning of life to the test. Upon meeting Deborah Roberts, a highly regarded journalist at ABC News, Al's outlook started to shift. Deborah was enchanted by more than just Al's charisma and humor. She caught a glimpse of the man behind the camera, the one who struggled with severe body image issues, health problems, and the relentless pressures of being on live television. Despite his magnetism, Al secretly battled with worries about dying and the constant pain of not knowing whether he could support his family and his business. Deborah restored equilibrium. Her wisdom, poise, and profound empathy provided Al with a solid foundation. She wasn't captivated by the spotlight, truth, telling important stories, and the principles that informed her work as a journalist and mother were her primary concerns. They had a special affinity that went beyond love. It had a profound effect. Deborah pushed Al to stop covering up his weaknesses with work or humor and be more genuine with himself. Alice revealed in open interviews that he disregarded his health warnings for a long time. It was taxing due to the long hours, frequent travel, and the expectation to be available at all times. When faced with more serious problems, he would sometimes hide behind food and laughter. However, he was able to face these realities directly with Deborah's unfaltering support. She was there for him during his life-saving procedures, helped him get back on his feet thereafter, and always emphasized the importance of letting those you care about share your load, rather than trying to make it all seem okay. Anytime I felt lonely, she made sure I wasn't. Whenever Al felt self-doubt, Deborah would reassure him that being vulnerable isn't a sign of weakness. It's the essence of our humanity. Despite difficulties that might have shattered other marriages, theirs became stronger. They triumphed through Al's health crises, which included his fight with cancer and his 2022 blood clot that almost killed him. Deborah stayed at his side through it all. She kept their home a haven of stability, joy, and unconditional love while juggling her own demanding profession. Being a father was just another turning point in Al's life. Beyond the glare of television, he found meaning in raising their children. Being a father at a later age made him realize what was truly important, and he has talked frankly about it. His priorities have shifted from ratings and predictions to celebrating milestones with his family and just being present for the moment. A partnership based on tenacity, rather than perfection, is what Al Roker and Deborah Roberts represent today. They demonstrate that love is resilient and unaffected by hardship. That marriage is about sharing life's highs and lows, triumphs and tragedies, side by side. What makes their tale significant? For the simple reason that it serves as a constant reminder that everyone, even the seemingly omnipresent, smiling faces that welcome us each morning, fights a secret war. A moving testimony to love, resilience, and vulnerability is Al's candor about his hardships and his recognition of Deborah's part in assisting him in healing. Finding balance, healing past hurts, and embracing the life you were destined to live are never too late, as Al Roker's experience demonstrates. His moving trip with Deborah Roberts. What are your thoughts about it? Drop a comment with your 2 cents. Please get in touch with us. If you like this personal profile of one of America's most adored TV personalities, please subscribe and enable notifications so you will never miss a tale about hope, perseverance, and love. Beloved Today weatherman and anchor Al Roker broke his silence on a long-hidden personal battle in an emotionally raw and frank moment. For decades, Roker, now 71 years old, has been a mainstay in American homes thanks to his charisma, enthusiasm, and impeccable predictions. But behind the scenes, Roker had been quietly fighting an opponent who was taxing on his mind and body. Roker has given his followers a glimpse into his inner life by finally revealing the emotional path that led him to overcome his private challenges, with the support of his wife, Deborah Roberts. With his extensive background in broadcasting, Al Roker has become one of the most respected names in television, and for many, he embodies vigor. It was not an easy road to Roker's present health, as he acknowledged in a recent interview. The television icon has always had health issues, but he has never publicly discussed the mental and physical toll of his most recent battle until now. In a special interview with Deborah, Roker discussed candidly the challenges he had overcome and the tough choices he had to make. This disclosure was a part of that talk. His fans may be accustomed to seeing him on screen with his signature sunny disposition, but they had no idea that he was fighting demons off-screen. During this private conversation, Roker revealed that he had been secretly battling a health crisis that had an impact on his mind and soul. Roker had been secretive about his struggle for a long time because it was connected to his health problems. He has been forthright in the past about his struggles with health, including his battle with prostate cancer. Nonetheless, a conglomeration of bodily illnesses had finally taken its toll on him. He was lonely and emotionally spent from fighting off chronic pain, exhaustion, and the aftereffects of prior surgery. Even more challenging for Roker was the fact that expressing weakness was hard for him because he had always been perceived as a rock of strength and resilience. The unfaltering encouragement of his wife, Deborah Roberts, gave Roker the fortitude to face his problems head-on. Since their 1995 wedding, the couple has maintained their famously tight-knit relationship, and this interview only served to highlight Deborah's role as Roker's rock during his lowest points. Deborah recounted how she had been Roker's rock throughout his health battles, providing him with both practical and emotional assistance at crucial moments. When Roker felt overwhelmed, Deborah was there to encourage him to ask for help and reassure him that it was good to do so. This support system was a lifeline for Roker. It's tough to acknowledge that you're having a hard time when you've dedicated your entire life to supporting other people, Roker confessed during the conversation. However, whenever I needed assistance, Deborah never made me feel inferior. Every time I needed a shoulder to cry on, she was there to reassure me that I could rely on her and that I wasn't alone. Because of his hardships, Roker had taken a heavy emotional toll. Experiencing vulnerability was a new and difficult reality for someone who had always been an inspiration. Still, Roker had the courage to press on in spite of his frailty, recognizing how challenging it had been to maintain an optimistic outlook while his body was failing him. He spoke openly about the mental health issues that had accompanied his physical ailments. Another significant part of the interview was the couple's candor regarding their issues with mental health. Roker and Deborah helped remove the stigma associated with mental health issues at a time when public people are under intense pressure to present an idealized picture. A person's mental health is just as important as their physical health, they said. Roker opened up about his experiences with counseling and therapy, which he said had helped him overcome emotional obstacles. He urged anyone going through tough times to reach out for assistance and not let their fears or pride prevent them. Roker thanked his loved ones, friends, and co-workers for all the support they had given him along his path. Everyone on the Today Show, who had always respected his tenacity, came together to support him during his ordeal, assuring him that he had company. Specifically, co-hosts Hoda Kotb and Savannah Guthrie were there to support and uplift him, strengthening the bonds he had formed with them over the years. Fans and viewers alike were moved by the dramatic display of vulnerability and honesty, and they expressed their love and support through an outpouring of messages on social media. Many viewers were impressed by Roker and Deborah's courage in sharing personal stories and bringing attention to the significance of physical and emotional wellness. The story of Roker revolves around a message of hope. He was adamant that his path was far from finished, despite the challenges he had already overcome. By his side, Deborah has helped Roker recognize that it's all right to have good days and terrible days, to face obstacles, and to not have all the answers. Although his struggle was tough, he was able to triumph thanks to his inner strength and the encouragement of his loved ones. The story of Roker should serve as a reminder to everyone that even the most famous and seemingly unstoppable public people have personal struggles. True strength does not come from trying to be flawless all the time, but rather from knowing when to seek for help. Roker has grown stronger because to Deborah's constant encouragement, and his story has inspired millions of others who suffer alone.